Ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
The Star Fantasy League Show puts you in control of your own team. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, and co-host SFL CEO Zach Stanley and Nick Steblenko. The Star Fantasy League Show is on the air now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on 105.5 The Team in Rochester. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by SFL CEO, Mr. Zach Stanley.
Holy Martin Keimer. The U.S. Open is in full swing, the World Cup is in full swing, and Jazz Fest is just around the corner in Rochester.
These are words that I don't... Oh, we are on Rochester, so I guess they would understand those words.
Yeah, it's very important to the people. Wait. Come on out for Jazz Fest.
I thought it was East End Fest this weekend, not Jazz Fest.
Well, no, East End Fest is tonight. Jazz Fest starts next weekend.
Why are there so many fests?
Well, Jazz Fest is one of the biggest jazz festivals in the world.
You know what?
Rochester Jazz Fest.
There are a lot of... I enjoyed Jazz Fest last year. Someone who I'm sure just loves some smooth jazz is SFL family member Jason Gringer.
How's it going? I'm here.
No, you didn't answer. I said someone who loves jazz festivals, right?
No.
You don't enjoy the Yaz flute?
No.
Oh, God, you're so...
Only if it's coming out of Leroy Moore's mouth.
Dead. So never, ever
Exactly.
going to happen again?
So,
wow, thanks for
not
that
again.
morbid... Thank you for that morbid note. Jason and I went to the Dave Matthews concert the other day. That's why we're talking about a guy who apparently has been dead for like 5 years. Oops.
Yeah, it's been about 6.
Rest in peace, Leroy. It's very, very sad.
Leroy.
Zach wasn't there.
No.
Why not?
I don't know.
Not a fan of the Dave?
Well, actually... Jason may be aware of this, but I saw a member of the Dave Matthews Band. We thought in Rochester during last year's Jazz Fest.
It was not him.
No.
There's no chance. Yeah,
He thought he saw Boyd or had a drink with him.
people at the concert thought they had a
Yes.
drink with him too.
There was a fake Boyd walking around the stands, and everybody's
I'm
going
pretty
nuts,
sure
even though
it
the
was
real
real
Boyd,
Boyd.
was on stage at the time.
Yeah.
I have a friend named Pete Dallinger, shout out, and he is still swearing that it was him, and he had this he had a suit next to him it was like his agent, like everybody was sure of it. We bought him shots, and
Oh my God!
and in a bit of a boozed haze, I thanked him for everything that he has done.
That is amazing.
And he rolled with the whole thing.
All right,
So I'm pretty sure it was him.
You had him confused. I have Jason confused with Nick, who usually sits in that seat, and I berate because I absolutely whooped on him. He felt so bad about his performance that he actually did not come into work today.
Yeah, he's wallowing in his
got
bed.
Beat. I had the best
Under his pillow.
I had the best numbers I've put up ever. I had a pretty good night, stacking the entire Houston-Arizona game. So let's just get into our accountability.
Just a quick aside. I went to Nick's house last night.
Was he crying?
To pick him up because we were going out to watch the basketball game. And I had to go to the bathroom. This bathroom is so, there's probably a foot of knee room in front of the toilet. I could barely fit in there. Nick says he has to switch to the side when he's on the toilet.
Wow, I am glad that story went where it went because I had no idea. No idea where that was going.
He's like, that's literally the only problem with the house.
That's
a pretty big problem.
That is a pretty big problem.
I'm
All right,
kind of scared sitting in the teddy bear chair today.
Yeah, you're in the
Is that
teddy bear
going
chair.
to jinx me?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Just don't mention Verlander at all.
Well,
Just
at least
don't
we
do
know
it.
it's not going to break because it doesn't break with him in it.
That's true. Wow.
Ouch.
All right, on the Star Fantasy League Show, we're being accountable today for our actions from yesterday's MLB. We're doing a little bit of John Elt's mailbag. We actually have a caller today, Derek Montilla from Arizona. Sports Caves coming on to talk some Diamondbacks. Since Zach besmirched the Diamondbacks name yesterday, we got to have somebody on to set you straight. And we're talking Saturday baseball as well. But we got to get straight to accountability. Zach, I believe you stole Max Scherzer from me yesterday for play of the day. I wanted to go with him.
That's
one
true.
of the greatest. I give you credit.
Guilty.
I had Scherzer. I went with Volquez, who actually put up an amazing performance, nine fantasy points.
You did it again.
I'm telling you, I have this gift for picking
The Latin
the
pitchers.
low end. And I had Chase Whitley yesterday, too. So, I mean, I hit on everything.
We had our eye on Chase Whitley. That was a good one.
It was one of those days where everything kind of just fell into line for me. I picked Singleton for my value play today, went for a home run and a sac fly. He got 10 points, which is pretty much all you can ask for a guy like that.
Yeah, so initially I had Altuve, which,
He did fine. I think he
For your
got
play of the day?
yeah.
he got like 5-ish,
Well,
I believe.
he got hit in the hand in
Oh, yeah,
the seventh innings.
he might be out
injured,
too, yeah.
But he had like 4 points.
Yeah. it's not
Okay,
bad.
all right. And then I had Dominguez, which was terrible.
Yeah.
He was my value play. And obviously, we just spoke about Scherzer.
Yep.
So I was pretty pleased with that. Tigers finally getting a win, actually doing something out there.
Of course, you had to get your Tigers talking, didn't you?
And I'm pretty pleased.
All right, you know what? Let's just get straight to the lineup today because I did so well yesterday. I don't want to talk about being accountable. We like being accountable, but we all did so well yesterday. You know what? Let's just move on. It's a new
How'd
day.
Nick do?
Terribly.
We have to be accountable when we do really well and when we do bad. So we get to gloat
I know,
on the days that
but
we do well.
the whole thing about this is most people, like you said, they do gloat when they do well, but they don't tell you when they do bad. So we don't want to dwell on it too much. Just say we did well and move on, right?
Okay.
So it's a new day. Every day is a new day on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Let's draft the new lineup for Friday. Let's get to it.
Let's do this. Time for your Star Fantasy Leagues MLB Fantasy Lineup Breakdown.
It is time for Fantasy Lineup Breakdown. I don't really know what I was doing today for some reason. It was one of those weird days. I went kind of all over the place. Is that a problem?
Sometimes you have to, I guess.
You guess?
Well, I'm really big on the double stack. It is not a KFC item or anything like that. That is what I put in my lineup.
Okay, you know what? I actually did. I went with three and three. I had the Chicago White Sox and I had the Los Angeles Dodgers. I believe we spoke about these guys. Chicago White Sox going up against Jeremy Guthrie, not good. And Los Angeles Dodgers are going up against Chase Anderson, again, not a good pitcher.
Yeah, we spoke about this. I do really like the White Sox. I know Chase Anderson. That line makes me a little nervous, even though it does look like all the runs could go to the Dodgers.
Except, Quintana's...
Because Clayton Kershaw can deal. And Arizona isn't, like I predicted, coming off a bad game last night.
Oh, don't worry. We'll get to it.
So I'm guessing they'll probably have another bad game tonight and start playing like they play. I mean, this happens all there. Teams go on streaks all the time. They started off the season horribly. Everybody said, where are the Diamondbacks? This team is the worst. What are they going to do? Then they have a hot streak, and this happens.
Oh, man, I can't wait till we get into this with Montilla. It's going to be funny.
Well, the Diamondbacks roughed up Kershaw pretty bad last time.
Yes.
So Kershaw's going to be out for revenge today. And the Dodgers are fourth in the majors against right-handed pitching and weighted on-base average.
Yeah, this should be a bloodbath. So. The other way that was the last time. All right, so the three guys I got from the Chicago White Sox are Gordon Beckham, Connor Gillespie, and I believe I also have Jose Abreu, the big bat.
Love Gillespie.
Yep.
I'm really big on him. Abreu, also really good OPS against left-handed pitchers, or right-handed pitchers, sorry. And I also like Adam Dunn a lot, though.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to get – the problem was a lot of first basemen that I liked on Friday. I have Brandon Moss and Abreu in there, so I couldn't really fit in three first basemen. You're not really allowed to do that unless you want to change the rules for me.
No.
Well, you could be playing Turbo and play three first
That
basemen.
is actually true. If you're playing turbo games at StarFantasyLeagues.com, it gets you a different way. You can put in three first basemen.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Strategy.
I don't want to do that. That's weird. All right, so the three guys I got from the Dodgers, I went kind of weird here because I'm not sure who's playing. I got Puig at the top, obviously. Right-handed hitter is absolutely dominant against right-handed batters.
Yeah, he hasn't homered in quite a while.
I don't even
At
care.
least 10 games.
I don't even
so
care.
He's due.
Well, he's due, but if he's not hitting home runs, he's still getting doubles. He's still getting runs. He's a guy who can produce without the power.
Wild horse.
Sure.
He's hot. He's due.
Yeah, he's got lots of those buzzwords we're saying. My other two guys are Matt Kemp. I think he's really got a really good matchup. And then somebody I went with a wild card who may not even play is Van Slyke. I think he may not play. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But Chase Anderson he's a reversible pitcher. He's really, really bad this season against righties.
Scott Van Slyke is turning into a bit of a Star Fantasy League's darling.
He is. Him
We
and
like
John
him.
Singleton are sitting in our attic right now.
Yeah, I was telling you earlier that Zach Greinke has as good of numbers as Scott Van Slyke against right-handed pitching.
I don't like to hear that.
Some of my greatest early baseball memories were of Andy Van Slyke and pulling him out of a stack of cards and just not caring about the card.
Wow, that's awful. All right, I got to get to the rest of my lineup. I said I had Brandon Moss in there. I'm assuming you guys are okay with Brandon Moss, right?
You know I love Moss.
Yeah, of course. Wearing his Oakland A's shirt.
Especially against right-handed pitching.
Moscow boom.
Yep, got to get a lefty in there. I also have Buster Posey's my catcher. I'm not really sure how I feel about this.
I like Posey.
Do you?
He's going against De La Rosa. He's a
But
lefty. It's in San Francisco,
that's the
but De La Rosa is awful against right-handed batters.
Yeah, most of his bad numbers are coming at home, though. That's the problem.
I wonder what rule they're going to create for Buster Posey this year.
Wow. All right, so that's all the offense. Oh, excuse me. My last one is Brad Miller at shortstop, 36-32. He's my kind of dark horse value play against Nick Tepesh, who is atrocious against both righties and lefties, so he doesn't discriminate.
He bad.
He bad, yeah. He chuddy, right?
Chuddy.
We make it this in a different
total
term.
chud job.
Chuddy-duddy.
But the thing I wanted to get into is my pitchers because I went a little weird. I know Jason and I were talking about this off the air earlier. Obviously, I got Clayton Kershaw on there. I do agree that he's going to come back with a vengeance because his one game where he was atrocious was against the Diamondbacks, and you don't think he's going to pitch like that twice in a row.
No, he's out for revenge today.
He's too good. He's too good to do this twice in a row, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
He's best pitcher in baseball right now, I think.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, that might be true. And at his price on StarFantasyLeague.com, that one bad game has affected him so negatively because he hasn't played that many games compared to everyone else.
Steal.
Yes, I completely agree there. What I want to talk about is the other pitchers around the 10 to 13 range because there's a ton of them for Friday. I ended up getting in Bartolo Colon and Drew Smiley. I'm sure you're going to love Drew Smiley, Zach, right? Because it's your boy.
No.
Oh, come on. It's your team.
Drew Smiley is the one guy he even makes me, I don't know. Well, Verlander has just been so bad that Verlander might have usurped him in nervousness for me.
In nervousness?
But,
you mean making you nervous?
But Smiley is apt to blow any game at any time.
But, it's another one of those matchup things.
Jason and I have experienced this several times.
Yeah. Minnesota.
Smiley puts a frown on our face.
Really? That actually works. I like that.
That's
but,
true.
Minnesota's kind of I know this game is in Detroit, so clearly that's good for batters. But Minnesota, seventh highest strikeout percentage, 21st against lefties. I feel like it's one of those better matchups you can look at on the board, especially for his price.
Yeah, it's certainly not a bad matchup. And if the Tigers play how I think they're going to play today against Kyle Gibson, he should be able to get out of there with a win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't just want to win though. I want the 6 to 7 range, guaranteed points, maybe 6 inning, 4 or 5 strikeouts, something like that.
He is a high strikeout guy, so you have that on your side. He just, he can be very inconsistent. That's the only thing that concerns me.
And what do you guys think about Bartolo Colon?
I love Bartolo.
How is he still in the leagues? How is he doing this?
He's fat.
Okay, that does not explain how he's still in the league. How is he still doing this?
He still carries a lot of momentum to the plate.
Yeah.
That might be right.
His gut pushes him to the plate.
No, that should be a low-scoring game. I like Kashner a lot as well on the other side of the mound, but
you can't go wrong with either of these teams. They're both in the top 10 in strikeout percentage, and they're both in the bottom 4 against right-handed pitchers. So I think either way you look at it, you're gonna do well for a pitcher. It's just who do you think is gonna win this game?
Bartolo's been solid. So
I can't believe we're talking about Bartolo Colon. It's 2014, and we're talking about Bartolo
5
Colon's
more years.
fantasy viability. This is literally, it makes no sense. We were talking about him being done 5 years ago.
He's the Tim Duncan of baseball, except not as good.
and not as in shape. All right, coming out of the break, it's time for John's Mailbag with special guest Derek Montilla at the Sports Cave, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on 105.5 The Team.
The Star Fantasy League Show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy League's team by tweeting at SFL Show.
That is right. All you have to do to have your voices heard on John Old's Mailbag is tweet us at SFL Show. Today in John Old's Mailbag, we have something very special for you. It might be a little special for you. I'm not sure. We don't know what they like here, do we?
I don't care.
Oh, thank you. That is so nice of you.
Tickets.
Yeah, that is true. We're giving away tickets. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But now joining us from Phoenix, Arizona, he's the host of The Cave Show. Mr. Derek Montilla is going to join us and talk about some Diamondbacks. How's it going, Derek?
Going great, guys. Thanks for having me on.
It's no problem. We got to test out this nice little phone liney thing we got going on here.
Our first guest.
I know. We're in the 20-something century. I don't think we're in the new century yet.
We're moving up really
You're
fast.
getting there.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting there. But we wanted to have you on because Zach yesterday talked about how the Diamondbacks have been floundering on offense, despite the fact that recently they've actually been pretty damn good on offense.
I didn't say they were floundering right now. I said they're a middling offense is what I said.
Okay, Derek, set him straight. Please tell him they have not been middling on offense.
by no means have they been. Their offense actually has had to really step up to hold leads and to have comebacks. The starting pitching has just been atrocious for the Diamondbacks, so it's almost like the offense has had to compensate for that. You throw away April and how bad April was, and realistically, even if you look at a lot of the losses that they had in April, they still scored a ton of runs. So offensively, the team hasn't really, that's not really been the issue. The issue has been mostly, both starting and relief pitching. I mean, if it's not one, it's the other. In a lot of cases, especially in April, it was both. But, right now, there's some quality starts coming out of some of the starting pitchers. But really, I mean, the Diamondbacks are addressing right now a lot of their personnel issues. Trevor Cahill was a big problem for them, both in the starting rotation and coming out of the pen in relief. So, they're trying to get some guys that they're actually confident in to be in there. They've had a lot of issues with, the closer role too. Addison Reed, they made a big trade for to bring him over from the Chicago White Sox, and it's not been great for him. He's had a decent conversion rate overall, but he seems to not be able to come in and be any kind of dominant closer for them. And he's just one of those guys that gives up home runs way too easily.
Hold on. We got to hear about our boy Wade Miley, though. I mean, come on, what is he doing? He is basically what we call stack bait in daily fantasy sports. You see his name on the rundown, and I'm immediately going for the other team's big bats.
Yeah, it's like throwing the chum in the water, right?
Yeah, actually, we came up with the term. He's the chud pitcher. We said that several times. Zach, I believe you coined that term. I mean, what has he been doing? How is he still in this rotation?
Wade Miley?
Yeah.
I think the reason why he's still in the rotation is just due to, by comparison, he's actually been more consistent than some of their other starters. I mean, between the injuries they've had, both in the bullpen and starting pitching, they traded away some of their prospects that were going to be starting pitchers. So they really put themselves in a position where they don't have a lot of options, especially this season. It seems like now Bronson Arroyo's name is going to be brought up for trades a lot, and it seems like they're going to hang on to Wade Miley and have him work through the issues.
So
he has been more consistent than some of the other guys, which is a scary part of this starting rotation.
Yeah, really.
Derek, you don't think this is an offense that's going to wind up ranking in the middle of the league by the end of the season? You think this is a top 10 offense?
I feel like the only reason is because based on how many runs they're going to have to score to be competitive, I don't feel like this team is going to, stick their head above 500 all season long. I do feel like they're going to still compete. And some of the guys that lacked offensive power last season have been stepping it up. Miguel Montero has been one of those guys that, at least over the last month, has been playing much better baseball than he was playing last season. You have Goldschmidt, but without the protection there, Goldschmidt is going to be a really hard, fantasy ad because his numbers are always going to be good, but you just don't really know when and how because of the fact that he, on a lot of nights, is the only real danger offensively on this team. Everybody else is pretty inconsistent.
Yeah, that might be true. I've been absolutely all over Paul Goldschmidt and Daily Fantasy Sports on StarFantasyLeagues.com. He's kind of been my play of the day and my boy for a little bit now. Hopefully this Arizona offense stays competitive because they're sure as hell entertaining to watch. Derek Moncia, thank you so very, very much for joining us on the Star Fantasy League show today. And go Diamondbacks, maybe?
I guess. I mean, it's a fun team to watch, at least. If you want to root for an underdog, it's a good underdog to root for.
This is true, yeah. And Rochester, we're definitely rooting for underdogs here. That is for sure. All right, Derek, we'll have you back on soon. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, that was Derek Moncio with the Sports Cave out of Phoenix, Arizona. We got to have some different thoughts because you said something, and I said, you know what, that's not right. Let's ask an actual Diamondbacks guy.
Some solid regional insight there.
Yeah, why not? I mean, once we have this call system in place, we're gonna start asking different beat writers around the country to join us and actually talk about their local players. Because guess what, they see them a hell of a lot more than we do, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the way it is. And when you're in, we don't really have a baseball team here.
Hey, we have the Rochester Red Wings. You know what? That's actually a good transition. We're giving away 10 pairs of tickets to the Red Wings game on June 18th. Join us. I will be there. I'll be interviewing some players, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, go see the stars of the future.
Yep, tweet us at SFL Show if you want to get maybe some free tickets. You guys interested in free things? No?
Maybe Joe Mauer will get injured and get sent down in the next week.
Okay, hoping that good players get sent down, I don't think is the point of going to minor league baseball games.
Sometimes it is.
Okay, yeah. If you have like a rehab start, I remember Pedro Martinez would randomly go down to like the Paw Sox and be like, "Yep, that's sold out immediately."
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
or
fun.
International people coming over.
Yeah, Pettit pitched in Rochester a couple years ago.
Yep.
All
You
right,
always have a shot at going to the park and seeing
Hideki
something
Irabu.
special.
Oh, God, let's not talk about
Irabu,
Irabu.
yeah.
All right, we got to get to actual John Ellis mailbag. We had the guest on, but it's time for mine. This is my segment. Zach got angry that I changed the segment today. You were a little miffed.
I always have a lot to say.
This is true. All right, let's get right to it. Keith S. writes, the San Antonio Spurs beat up on the Heat for a second straight game, pulling within one game of winning the NBA Finals. Can the Spurs erase the painful memories from last season and pull this one out?
There was a lot of talk going into this series by actually Horace Grant had some words regarding
Oh, goody. Horace Grant
regarding
had words.
the Bulls taking down Miami quite easily. I am hesitant to say it, but I wouldn't be surprised if this team, the way that they've played at least in the last two games, would have been able to take on Jordan's Bulls. The collective team effort has been so remarkable, off the bench through and through. Guys like Thiago Splitter, Patty Mills stepping up, obviously a man who's always a factor. But just amazing how the younger guys have grown on this team and been such a big part of what they've been doing these past couple games.
Who on that Bull squad can cover Boris Diaw the way he's been playing? It's I can't believe honestly, this is like the second day in a row we said it. He's been incredible in this series.
He has. He's been a huge tool for them, and just his passing, his positioning, not an actual tool.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I would never call Boris Diaw a tool.
Okay, Boris Diaw in Charlotte was a huge tool.
Well, yeah, that's because who really wants to play in Charlotte?
Now let's be honest, that team might be doing something.
That's
true. I got you a little bit off track. That tends to happen on the Star Fantasy League show.
Yeah, we said when the series before it started is that we would be super we didn't think that this game could end in 5.
Yeah, we said neither way. This is no chance of us ending in 5. You're right.
We all agreed, no way this would end in 5 games, and now it looks like it very well could.
They took it up another notch. This is some of the best basketball that I have ever seen, and I have watched a lot of basketball. They're just playing with such a massive chip on their shoulder. I really think
it's from last year.
It is. It's a huge revenge factor. This is what they've been waiting for. This was the point that they wanted to get to, where they got to match up, not just be in the finals, but go up against the Miami Heat again. And they're just outplaying them in every facet of the game. They out-rebounded them by 17 last night. They were all over the boards. They were all over it defensively. There's really nothing that you can say negative, and I really liked how the game was refereed last night. There was a lot of falling down by Miami players last night. Any time that they got stuffed or tried to take a charge. I only saw 1 or 2 calls that I was skeptical of. Other than that, I thought it was really well officiated and just an even better performance than Game 4.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Game 3, rather.
Yeah, the Heat just look old and tired.
Dwayne Wade especially. This might be a little strange, but he might be done. Like, as a superstar, he might just be straight up done.
And if you listen to Eric Spoelstra's press conference after the game, it was basically what we were saying, except from his point of view. There was really no we got to go out and do better.
Look under the hood and
he talked
rip
about
some
car
wires
parts.
out, just break things.
It was remarkable what they've been able to do. I just don't. I think listening to the Heat players last night, there's really no answer if the Spurs continue to play like this. Because last night it wasn't about they shot really well.
Nope.
But it wasn't about lights out shooting like it was the game before.
It was just a perfect
all around effort.
All right, we got one more question before we jump off here. Ethan L. writes, Brazil opened the World Cup on home soil by defeating Croatia 3-1. Can Golden Boy Neymar lead the home team to a cup win? I know it's really early to be talking about who's winning, who's not going to win. We're watching right now as we're talking, but Brazil looked a little shaky, and then they didn't look shaky.
Yeah, well, maybe for some, opening game jitters at home in front of their crowd.
Hold on, I don't remember. Did they do this where the home team plays the first game on the first day?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, South Africa played on the first day.
That makes sense.
But I honestly, they scored a couple goals in the second half. One of them on a horrible penalty call.
Yeah, that was atrocious.
And the other one was because Croatia had to push everybody up to try to knot this thing up.
I love that the Croatian coach took a shot at basketball. Did you hear what he said in his press conference? He said, if that was a penalty, we should be playing basketball. Those kind of fouls are penalties there.
Well, that's interesting.
Shots fired at basketball from Croatia.
He said it's shameful and that this is not a World Cup referee.
Yeah, it's not like he has a bias. Don't they purposely do that? They put referees from different countries that aren't actually playing in the game for that exact reason?
Yes.
It's like, it's a Japanese ref. Is he going to really be biased in a Croatia-Brazil match? No.
I think that's garbage, though, because all I do is compare soccer to the NBA to soccer, like they're taking after what soccer does.
Oh, with the
like
sliding.
Manu Ginobili was one of the expert floppers like 5 years ago. I'm glad to see that that's kind of dissipated from his game.
Do you think he learned from Lionel Messi? Then since they're both Argentinian, you think they were hanging out talking about flopping?
I bet he gets to hang out with all those guys.
Of course he does.
Probably.
I will say I was not impressed with Brazil's effort at all. I thought Croatia played really well, and despite losing the first game, they're in a good group. They have a good chance of still moving on despite the loss. I have to see a lot more from Brazil in these next couple matchups before I can say that I think they're a real viable option to win the whole thing.
Yeah, they had the crowd behind them start out.
What a
and
surprise.
They just came out lackluster in the first and second half. It was kind of surprising. And they're the odds-on favorite to win this whole thing, which they didn't really look like.
Yeah, the third goal is just something that happens in soccer all the time, especially in the World Cup. When you're looking to get points, if you're down one, then you're going to push everybody up, and the other team's going to get a lot more chances.
Let's be honest. They scored all 4 goals in that game. It wasn't really 3-1. It was technically 4-0 if you count Brazil players that scored in that game, right? Home goals count, right? Hopefully nothing bad happens to that guy. I'm worried. We had flashbacks in the office of Colombia. Hopefully nothing bad happens. We hope it's Brazil. All right, coming after the break, we're talking Saturday MLB, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on 105.5 The Team.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at starfantasyleagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League Show with Donald, Teddy Bear 2, and the Deucey Moose. Only on the Team.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I don't believe there is a Teddy Bear 2 here. There's only a Jason Gringer, and he has no nickname I'm aware of.
Well, we're making history today.
Are you?
This is the first time it's been Jonald, Zach, and me.
Jonald, Zach, and you.
That's true. I've been on with Jason before, and so have you.
Yeah?
When I took your job.
Yeah, those shows are what we call lost episodes. They never made it to air because
those are the ones that are like heavily downloaded because they're hard to find.
What are they worth? Like 80 cents more on the internet?
They sell big on eBay.
If you want to hear Jason, Nick, and Zach together, 99 cents on iTunes right now.
It's like the bootleg albums that you find on random sites.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So
don't torrent them though. Please do not go on the torrent sites. Don't do it. Not cool. But you know what you can get for free? All you have to do if you want to win free tickets to the Red Wings when they play the Paw Sox on June 18th. That's next Wednesday. That's pretty soon, right?
Yeah, it's coming right up, and you might even get to have a baseball signed by someone in the Red Sox Hall of Fame.
Me? I thought you were going to say you're going to have an autograph by me, because if you throw a ball anywhere near me, I'm autographing it and throwing it back at you.
You're literally going to go after people and try to sign their faces.
I heard yesterday you're going to be autographing cars.
I am going to. If you are parked in the Red Wings parking lot at Frontier Field, I might autograph your car. If it says a scribbly, it's me.
We're going to have a lottery for Jonald's special row. He's going to select a row of cars.
Just sign things. That sounds atrocious. But seriously, if you want to win we're giving out 10 pairs of tickets. Father's Day is this weekend. If you didn't get Dad a present, just tweet us at SFL Show. We'll give you a pair of tickets. Go on Wednesday.
Congratulations to the cars in Section 4D.
4D. Your
You've
cars
been
are
signed
here.
with a erasable marker.
That might happen.
Unless
it might not
Jonald
happen.
accidentally brings his permanent marker.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be bad. Let's not talk about that. That's a felony.
But they would know it was you because it would, you'd sign your name on it. So
damn, I'll make it illegible. All right, we got to get to it. Saturday on StarFantasyLeagues.com. The games are starting a little bit early. It's a 4:05 start for all the guaranteed prize pool games. The thousands of dollars in guaranteed prize pool games. Right?
I'm gonna have trouble. I'm gonna have trouble focusing tomorrow.
Please don't tell me you're going to have trouble getting up.
My eyes are going to... No, I'm going to be able to get up, but my eyes are going to be all over the place watching soccer, baseball, and golf.
Yeah, that's a lot. You know what? But all we're talking about...
Martin Keimer, just stop it. If the U.S. Open is won by a foreigner in a runaway, I will just spit.
Somebody endorsed by Dirk.
Yeah.
Oh, let's not... You know what? Let's not talk about that. We are going to talk about... I believe there are 13 games to talk about. It's a nice big slate we got to look at. First, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about stacks. That's when you put multiple players from one offense in against an opposing pitcher. You can go anywhere from 1 to 4. 1 isn't a stack, though. That's just you being weird.
That's true.
Don't call it that.
My soccer alter ego was actually named Dirk.
Was it?
Dirk Stanley.
Nice. All right, so Zach, throw us out Dirk Stanley's first stack of the day.
I'm stacking the Red Sox.
Oh, look at that.
Against J.J. House. not a lot to look at here, as you may know, in terms of innings, but he's given up 3 home runs in 14 innings, a .412 WOBA, which has got to come down, but a 67.3 ground ball percentage. I mean, just a horrible start for this guy. And I'm looking at Holt, I'm looking at Gomes if he plays, Bogarts, even Ortiz, but Napoli and Pedroia as well. I think there's a lot of guys that are in play here against J.J.
Could
House.
you say that he's a TJ walk house, since he likes to walk a lot of batters? No?
Oh, yeah, TJ. I just said JJ.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I wasn't making fun of that. I wanted to call him TJ the Brick House, but I realized that has nothing negative going for it.
TJ, we must protect this house.
I'm high on the Red Sox as well.
Cleveland's going to have to play a lot of good defense tomorrow to stop this. What, do you disagree with me? Come on, speak up.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind the pick. He had a horrible first start. He had a great second start, I think. We were all stacking against him, and then he came out and proved us wrong. But the Red Sox have a lot of right-handed batters. It's in Fenway. They're going to be launching some balls over the
You know what we
monster.
call that? We call that blind squirrel syndrome.
That is true. Surprisingly, David Ortiz is actually pretty good against lefties. TJ House this season has not been good against lefties. He's somebody I think to go against the grain he might be interesting to put in. And when he starts hitting home runs like he did the other night, watch out. He goes off in spurts. That's kind of his thing. So he might be a guy a little against the grain, but I'd kind of consider him.
We talk about a little bit of inconsistency from the Red Sox offense from time to time. This is an over-under of 9.5, and they're heavily favored. I think you got to play the numbers on this with a young pitcher that is still trying to get a grasp on his place in the league.
I have one thing to say. Boston go boom boom tomorrow night.
Well,
Boston
I was kind of surprised to see them. They're middle of the pack against left-handed pitching, but also it's not surprising. They haven't been that great this year overall. But
They have not. But honestly, I'd still stack them. They have enough power bats. They're an interesting pick against it. Yeah, a middling, as we'll say, Zach, middling pitcher.
Yes.
All right, Jason, where are we going for another stack?
I am looking at the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
The Angels that reside in Los Angeles, but also in Anaheim. That team.
That team.
I hate that name.
But they are in Atlanta tomorrow night, going up against Gavin Floyd. He's been surprisingly decent for the Braves this year. I think he's due for an implosion. He doesn't strike many guys out. Usually only lasts about 5 to 6 innings. The Angels are 8th in the majors against right-handed pitching with a WOBA of .322. I think the Angels to target in this game are the 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters of Trout, Pujols, Hamilton, and Freese. Career against Gavin Floyd, 42 plate appearances, a combined 21 for 39, 4 doubles, 4 home runs, 16 RBI, and only 3 strikeouts.
Ooh, that's
I still don't.
dirty.
I don't really see this, to be honest. I don't like this pick. I don't think the line dictates it.
I love
Gavin
it.
Floyd,
Zach is so against the BVP stats. Anytime you go, he's 100 for 100 with 17 home runs. You're like, I don't like those stats. They don't say anything.
The stats are fine, but I think overall this game, Atlanta's favored in this game, slightly favored. I don't think the line dictates it. Gavin Floyd has been pitching well, but his BABIP is actually high right now, so you could think that would actually come down a little bit. I mean, due for an implosion, maybe. But I just don't see it.
Yeah, honestly, that's not a team that I had on the list. Obviously, they are top 10 against righties. It's one of those, which way are you looking at? You can interpret these stats either way. But let's be honest, all I know is Atlanta likes to strike out. That's all I know about the team. They like to strike out. What about Garrett Richards on the other side there?
He's actually my play of the day tomorrow.
Okay, I was going to say,
as a pitcher.
That's what I wanted to talk about when we are talking about this game, because Atlanta, 26 against righties, they love to strike out, top 3 in the league. I kind of always go against them. That's what I try to do.
Yeah, they're 26 in the majors against right-handed pitching. Their weighted on-base average is 290.
That's bad.
It's pretty bad. Richards had a great start to the year. Then he fell back down to earth a little bit. His last 2 starts, though, have been great. 15 innings pitched, only 8 hits allowed, 0 walks, 1 run, and 13 strikeouts.
And the most important thing is, he's a high strikeout pitcher. He's around 8.5 per 9. Against a team like Atlanta that has a high strikeout percentage, you're not looking for the guy that strikes out 5 or 6 against a good team like that. You want the guy who's striking out 8 to 10, somewhere around there, because then you're just getting easy points, starfantasyleagues.com, with the strikeouts. It's the most important thing for pitchers.
All right, yeah, good luck with Gavin Floyd, buddy.
I love where you're going completely against us. It actually makes me happy. All right, I'm going to go with another stack. Let's throw something in there. I have no idea. I'm stacking the other side. I really think Jake Peavy's been fairly inconsistent this entire season. Cleveland is 3rd against righties this season. I think that could be somewhere interesting to go. Probably, again, the 2 through 5-ish area. Brantley could be a big bat there.
Yeah, leave it to Peavy to blow a game at any time.
Yeah, Peavy,
Leave it to Peaver.
Yeah, that was where I was going.
Really?
Yeah, leave it to Peavy.
Read your mind.
Why do you guys have to say really, really terrible things that you know I'm going to repeat at the end of the show?
You mean genius comments?
No, not at all.
Awesome jokes?
Yeah, the Indians have some great left-handed bats, especially Brantley. He's come on hard this year, pretty much out of nowhere. And also Jason Kipnis, he's back from the DL. He's hitting in the cleanup spot. And also in the 2-hole is Asdrubal Cabrera. It's also a nice left-handed bat there.
Let me give you one more stack attack here. I like the Blue Jays a lot against Bud Norris.
What is going on with this team, though? Yesterday we talked about I put them in as my stack, and Kevin Gausman owned them.
I know. They've had a little struggle the past couple games.
Understatement, yeah.
Understatement, but I'm still looking at them. They got 3 guys that are top over 900 in OPS against right-handers. Adam Lind, Francisco, and Edwin Encarnacion, all really solid. 16 home runs for Edwin Encarnacion against righties.
I keep writing that number on here every time. It's just, but he's getting up there. I think he's over $10,000, starfantasy.com. It's hard to fit him in. Usually.
It is, but that's why he's my play of the day. 7 home runs and 103 at-bats versus right-handed pitchers is Colby Rasmus.
Ooh.
Which is my value play of the day.
Well, he's injured.
Oh! Jason just took you to school on the show.
Crap.
So you might have to pick another guy.
Are you sure?
All right, come on.
I think he's still on the DL.
Jason looks at every single angle.
You know what? I
everything.
bet he plays, and then everybody hears this and thinks that, I don't know what I'm doing. We'll see.
Well, I'm looking at the other side of the ball. Actually, the Orioles going up against Dickey. Dickey's been awful on the road this year. He's got a 5.75 ERA, a 1.83 WHIP. Right-handed batters usually fare much better against knuckleball pitchers, and the Orioles have a bunch of guys that can hit for power.
So I guess I didn't check up enough on Colby Rasmus.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do some checking on Colby Rasmus.
That's why you look at every guy and make sure that they are available to you, because numbers never lie, but they do lie when your player isn't actually playing.
This is true. You'll get a big fat 0 if your player does not play. That's why we have late swap, starfantasy.com. If you can put a guy in there, he's not in the starting lineup, guess what? Swap him right out.
Boom.
If your game gets rained out, swap him right out. Pretty easy.
It's not too late for me.
This is true. All right, we got a few minutes to talk about pitchers you might like on Saturday on starfantasyleagues.com. We mentioned Garrett Richards. Atlanta's not good. There's some teams that just straight up aren't good on offense against certain pitchers. I want to talk about Joe Saunders. He hasn't been terrible. He hasn't been great. He's someone I would consider against the Seattle team, especially in Seattle. High strikeout percentage, top 10, and bottom 3 team against lefties.
Yeah, I've got him written down, and actually a terrible slugging percentage for Seattle as well at .340.
It's impossible to hit the ball out of that place.
He's sitting pretty at 4,500. They're playing in Seattle, great pitcher's park, over under 7.5, and it's a tight spread as it is. I think he's worth taking a chance on. You could definitely get a good amount of value out of that 4,500 and save and get a guy like Edwin Encarnacion into your lineup.
That's true. There aren't a lot of top tier pitchers. I believe the most expensive guy, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the most expensive guy is Steven Strasburg for Saturday. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so and he has an okay matchup. It's not the best in the world. St. Louis is 20th against righties, but they don't strike out that high. But Steven Strasburg, again, is one of the best strikeout pitchers in the league. So
the six inning kid.
I was going to say, like you said before, if he's only pitching 6 innings, do you really want to spend $16,000 on a guy like that, especially on the road?
Not when I'm not going to spend $5,000 on Colby Rasmus.
Well, you're definitely not going to waste $5,000 on a guy who's not playing.
Yeah, I agree. I just think, when you don't get that much mileage out of a guy, it's so difficult to put him in, especially at such a high price.
Unlike Scherzer the other night. Oy.
I'm looking at Wheeler.
Yeah, Wheeler's got to be the guy.
He had a bad last start, but going up against the Padres, who are dead last in WOBA versus right-handed pitchers at .277 and 22.7 K percentage. Wheeler can get the Ks. He's not a guy that can go the distance, but still sitting at 10,000. I think he's a good value play.
It's not a bad pick.
Yeah, I like
especially
him.
Against the Padres.
Anybody else you like?
I'm looking at another 2 guys, Anibal Sanchez going against the Twins, and Chris Archer against the Astros.
You didn't even mention my boy Giovanni Gallardo. I like him pitching up against Cincinnati.
You would take him every time if you could.
You know what? There's a lot of guys. You don't question my methods. I have these weird things I do. Coming after the break, we're giving you all our top plays, value plays, and stacks of the day. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
My headset is sweaty.
Yeah, I believe there's a reason your headset's sweaty. Someone who's listening right now, this is your fault.
Thanks, Ed.
Yeah, we're not. I was just gonna say we're not gonna say who it was, but yeah, that happened.
No last names.
Yeah, no last name redacted. That's fine. No big deal.
There's a lot of Eds. There's a lot of Eds out there. It could be anyone.
Oh man, the best part is he is listening and probably like, "What is going on right now?"
Could be Eddie
can't blame
Murphy.
him. You got your candles going in here. It's very hot.
That's actually a lie. My candle is not going right now.
Well, I just made that up.
Yeah,
John likes to surround his entire office with candles.
Hey, and some rose petals. Sometimes it's a nice mood in here. Whatever. All right, we got to get to our top plays of the day for Saturday on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Zach, I hope you got a different value play of the day for us.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Gomes, Johnny Gomes, on the Red Sox. Definitely going to play, I think,
Johnny, don't call me Yan Gomes.
in this matchup against the left-handed pitcher. Also, I am looking at Edwin Encarnacion.
Yeah, you just keep talking about these Toronto Blue Jays.
as
don't
my
you?
big boy. I think he's going to jack one out tomorrow. And I am going to go with Joe Saunders just because I think that he will double what his value could be.
You are stealing a play out of my book where I don't go with the top price guy that I think is good. I go with the best value that's going to get the most points for you. Edison Volquez, anybody? Him? Yeah? A couple times?
Yeah, it's too bad you weren't able to stick that to Nick.
I know. Nick, if you're listening, and I know for a fact you are, Edison Volquez. Boom. Go ahead, Jason.
Eat it.
Who's your daddy? I forgot. I was going to make him say that. And he should be saying it right
And
now.
you're up 2 now, right?
Hashtag who's your daddy?
You're up 2?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
At SFL Show. Who's
Well,
your
he'll
daddy?
be back Monday, right?
Yeah, he's going to get it.
All right.
Yeah. It's going to be me, Jason, and Nick all week.
Brutal.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Wow.
Well, I'm going to miss you guys.
Yeah,
I miss being on the
how
show when I'm not here.
adorable. All right, Jason, we got to get your plays.
Batter of the day is Adrian Gonzalez for the Dodgers.
Wait, hold on. You didn't pick an Oakland Athletic?
I did not.
It's a new day.
It is. He's going up against. He's playing Arizona. He's going up against Josh Cole-Mentor, who he's 4 for 7, a double home run. But he loves playing against the D-backs. This year he's hitting .436 against them with 4 homers and 15 RBI. In the NL, he's 15th against right-handed pitching with a .385 weighted on base average. And he's only around 7,200 now. So he's fallen off a bit.
He's coming down, yeah.
My pitcher of the day, as I mentioned, was Garrett Richards for
Yeah.
Anaheim. Value play of the day is going to be Chris Owings, guy I've had before. He went off last time I mentioned him for 18 points.
Yep.
I don't think he'll do that again, but he's going up against Dan Herron, who in his career is 9 for 11 against 2 doubles, 2 stolen bases. He's got 3 home runs in his past 8 games, so
Good for
somebody
you.
to look at.
Good for you, Chris
So
Owings.
you're really evaluating 11 at-bats.
I love how Zach just gets so heated up about this every time you mention BVP.
Funny story about Josh Cole-Mentor. He actually owns 4 collies.
This is not true.
Collie
Zach
1
is
through
making
4.
things up. It's terrible. All right, I got to get to my plays of the day. I am going with Big Poppy David Ortiz. The matchup might not dictate this. TJ House is a lefty, but he's been atrocious against lefties. And David Ortiz, surprisingly, is hitting really well against lefties.
Yeah, he eats them up. It comes right in his wheelhouse.
Again, Poppy go boom boom.
And it's amazing. I mean, that's the tougher side of Fenway Park that he hits to,
Yep.
and he just
Over
jacks
the
them
wall.
out.
Unless you can wrap it right around that pesky pole.
Yeah, that's right. I got Zach Wheeler as my pitcher of the day. He's inexpensive. It's kind of a value pitch, but like we said, there's not that many expensive guys outside Steven Strasburg. I'm going with Andre Ethier. I like the lefty idea for the Dodgers. I think he's a cheap lefty in there. And go stack the Red Sox, please. Right? Who doesn't want to stack the Red Sox?
I've got the Red Sox.
TJ House.
And
Angels,
the Angels, terrible stack.
get him in there.
I love how we're just disagreeing. But we're not disagreeing on giving everybody some free value. Tweet us at SFL Show if you want to win 10 pairs of tickets to Wednesday's game. We got some baseball.
Just
Baseball in
hold on.
Rochester.
Do we have enough time? I'm going to get out my phone so I can win these on the air.
Nope, you cannot do that. Thousands of dollars in guaranteed prize pools every day on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Get you free money. Everything's going on. It's the best day to start playing. And if you want to leave it to Peaver, please don't. Horrible idea. Take it easy, guys.